Hi, I'm Megan, and thanks for joining me for this short single pose somatic practice. Actually, it's going to be taking two poses into one. We'll be working with the upper body with what we call cactus arms. So mobility in the shoulders, a release if you hold tension in the front of the shoulders or the neck, it's great for that. And we'll also be working with the lower half of the body, the legs and the hips, with some rotation. So we're going to do either of those individually, and then we'll bring them together into one movement. So I'm going to have you come down and start on your back side. Feel free to hug your knees into your chest, roll around a little bit. Just acknowledge the floor underneath you. Feel the floor. Locate yourself on the floor. Let your spine locate itself. And we do these practices in constructive rest position. So back and spine relaxed, and your legs are in 90-degree angles. So my knee is lined up with my hip and my ankle with my knee, and I just let my foot come down to the floor. So feet are on the floor about underneath the knees, so the shin bones are straight from the knees to the ankles, just as wide as the hips to start. We'll start from there. Once again, just land, let your back and spine relax. I'll give you the option of doing these practices to your breath. If you do not want to do a breath center practice, you don't need to. But if we are doing it to the breath, then locate the breath as well. Feel yourself breathing in, and feel yourself breathing out. And in addition to feeling the breath in and the breath out, find the pause at the top of the inhale, right before it becomes an exhale. And then find the pause at the bottom of the exhale, right before you take that next breath in. And if we've located all four parts of the breath, we can move to the breath. If in any way the breath causes you anxiety, then leave that out. We just do the movement. So we're going to take our arms and just kind of slide them out to our sides. And the first thing we do is the cactus arms to feel the movement of the arms. So sliding your elbows about to the height of the shoulders, you're going to bend your elbows and let your wrist creases and your fingers just flop. So my wrist is facing up towards the ceiling, creating that 90-degree angle through the arms. And then I'm just going to let my arms fall forward. And if you're doing that to the breath, it's on the exhalation. This is internal rotation of the arms. I'm very tight. Some of you might be able to touch your fingers to the ground, or at least come closer to the ground. But this is one of my tight points that I need to work on. And I'm not cheating. I didn't do this before the video, so you can see. But it's a good assessment for yourself too. How far away from the floor are your fingers? Because when we're done, maybe they're a little bit closer if we get some of those muscles to relax. And notice I'm not letting my wrist fall out to the side. I'm keeping my wrist in line with my elbow so that L shape is still there, but I'm just falling. And you can feel how your upper arm bones are rotating. They're rolling in. You might notice how the upper shoulders are lifting off the ground, the tops of the shoulders. And then we come back, and the other way we go is external rotation. So wrists are still floppy. And gravity is our helper here. So I'm exhaling and just letting the arms fall back. So for some people, the hands might not touch the ground. Mine do. I'm not as tight here, so I let them fall to the ground. And notice how now your upper arm bones are rotating away from your torso, away from your heart. So that's your external rotation. And we'll do just that a few times. You can inhale, lift the arms up, and exhale, let them fall forward. So I'm not pushing them. Arms or hands and wrists are relaxed, just letting them fall, inhaling up and exhaling back. And feel the movement through your shoulder blades and around your collarbones. Notice how the tops of the shoulders lift as the hands come down to the hips, and the tops of the shoulders slightly press into the ground. You might even feel your back arch slightly away from the floor as the hands fall overhead. And we're going to continue with this movement, but we're going to alternate. So now as you exhale, let the left hand come down by your hip and the right hand go overhead. And inhale, come back up. And exhale, right hand down, left hand overhead. So I'm turning to look at you through the camera, but I'm also turning because we want to start turning our head. So keeping the weight of the head relaxed in the jaw As you exhale and the arms fall, let the head just roll towards the top hand. Just rolling. Nice soft smile on your face. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the top hand. So this is a really good one if you hold chronic tension or in your neck or your shoulders. Notice we're not pushing, we're just falling with gravity into the motion and then lifting back up. So this is our cactus arms, what I like to call it. And you can check yourself every now and again. Sometimes the elbows start to slide back down to our sides, or we get sloppy with the wrists falling out to the sides more. So just, you don't have to be super particular, but try to realign. Elbow to the height of the shoulders, find that L. And then we're going to switch. This is when your brain says, it does that little brain fart and goes, what? So you've been looking at the top hand on exhalation. Now I just want you to turn and look at the bottom hand. And if you did that little what, that's because your nervous system is listening. That's good. It's saying, okay, that wasn't just an automatic response, right? Or voluntarily changing the position of the head to look at the bottom arm. Just to keep our nervous system involved, keep it interested. And the way we do that is by doing things just a little bit differently. And it pays attention. It's relearning, it's remapping, it's reorganizing itself. And you can do a few more of these. Notice that we're not lifting the head, we're just letting the head roll from side to side. And I purposely don't have any supports underneath my head. If you are supporting it, this is much more useful if you keep a neutral neck. So if you have your head supported and you're up here, it's just not as beneficial as keeping the neck long and the ears right in line with the shoulders. So if you're way back here, you may need a little support underneath the head if your chin's away from your chest. But otherwise, we want our gaze and our nose to go straight up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. And then you can switch back and forth. You can, when it gets really easy, look at the top arm. Go back to looking at the top arm with those windshield, where the cactus arms back and forth. And then see if you can go back to looking at the bottom arm. So just keep changing it, keep reprogramming. Not forcing, just sort of playful. One or two more. And then we have that idea of internal and external rotation. And if you want to recheck yourself, let your hands fall forward. Whoops, okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm going to bring my elbows up. But I still want you to see how much closer my fingers are to the ground. Voila, it's like a magic trick, opening up that internal rotation. And then you can also check yourself to the back. Take the hands to the floor behind you. All right, but now we're going to let the arms relax for a moment. So the arms are relaxed, the upper back is relaxed, and then we're going to come back into our legs. We're going to switch into the legs. So from the constructive rest pose, just widen your feet slightly so that your heels are outside of your hips. And then we're going to start with the left leg first. Feel yourself from the left hip all the way through the thigh into the knee, and then all the way down to the big toe side of the left leg and the little toe side of the left leg. And all we're going to do is we're going to let that leg fall in and out. So as you exhale, you can tip onto the pinky toe side and let just the left leg, so my right leg's not following it. I'm going to keep my right kneecap pointing up towards the sky. Just let it fall outward. And then I lift back up as I breathe in. And now I'm going to go onto the big toe side, let the leg fall inward as I breathe out. Again, gravity is my best friend here. I'm not forcing it. The effort is in lifting the leg back up on the inhale, and then I'm exhaling, letting it slowly fall. So you don't want to boom, like let it fall really fast, right? A little bit of control, a controlled speed fall, and then coming in. Watch that you're not lifting your heel way up. You can think of rocking from the pinky toe side of the foot. And then flat foot on the top of the inhale, kneecap up towards the sky, and then onto the big toe side of the foot. If your left leg is crashing into your right leg, just see if you can widen your stance just slightly. That's why we take it a little wider. So just like we had the internal and external rotation of the arm, this is the same thing for the hip. We're internally rotating the thigh as the leg comes across the center of our mat onto the big toe side. And then we come up, and then we externally rotate the leg, letting it fall outward. Just doing a couple more should feel nice and soothing for the left hip. Notice when you're engaging inner thigh muscles to lift the leg up to the center, and then you're engaging outer hip muscles to lift up to the center when it is inward, and just a few more of those through the left leg. Taking your time. So it's not a speed race. That's why I like to do it to the breath, because then I remember full breath out, full breath in, and even the pauses. And then we'll stop. Pause, take a moment, reset yourself if you need to reposition. And then we're going to do the same thing with the right leg. So feel yourself from the right hip, the pelvis all the way through the knee, front and back of the knee, into the big toe and little toe side of the foot. And as you breathe out, fall onto the pinky toe side of the foot. Don't push it out, just let it fall. And then breathe in, come back up, kneecap up towards the sky. Feel the big toe side of your foot. As you breathe out, fall onto the big toe side. So there's your internal rotation. You'll notice that nice stretch through the outer hip. Inhale, lift back up. Hopefully it's a nice stretch. Exhale out to the side. And I'm trying to keep this left leg quiet and stable. I'm not letting it go yet. We're just isolating just the movement through the right leg. Because as is with the arms, we also can use this for a little self-assessment. So maybe this is very common, you might have been tighter, especially in the internal rotation, with one leg might go way down and the other, if you're like me, doesn't go as far. So we're just sort of noticing that, not in a way that we're scolding ourselves, we're just noticing as we go in and out. Feeling the inner thigh stretch and the outer hip stretch. And one or two more. I'm just letting my head float. So if the head wants to float like it's watching, it can. Let it float, not locking it in. Keep the tongue soft. You can even touch the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And then we'll come back to the center. So then we'll do both legs at the same time, and we're going to put it together. So this is like windshield wipers in yoga, if you're used to windshield wipers. But we're going to keep that little bit of wider stance, heels to the outer hips. As you exhale, let both legs fall to the left. So you're getting that external rotation of the left leg, internal rotation of the right leg. Inhale, lift back up, and exhale, both legs fall to the right. And inhaling back up. Let's do a couple more with the legs, and we're going to add the head. So as your legs are at center, your nose is at center, looking up at the sky. As your legs fall to the right, just roll your head towards the left shoulder. Just a little roll. Feel that lengthening through the right side of the neck. Inhale, knees up, head rolls back. Feel the base of the skull. Exhale, knees fall to the left, and roll your head to your right shoulder. So as the legs fall one way, the head looks the other way. It just doesn't want to be able to see your knees. And then, because the goal here is to alleviate muscle patterns, do the same thing but roll your head in the direction of the knees. So turn the head to center. As the knees fall to the left, roll your head to the left. And notice if there's like a sticky point. Your body goes, what? We have to change this again, because mine does. I have to pay attention. One or two more. And then back to the center. If in between you need to take a full body yawn, that can feel fantastic. Stretch it all out and then sigh it out, let it go. Or sometimes hugging the knees in the chest and rocking. It doesn't have to be an or, it could be an and. You could take a full body stretch and rock, as I just did. And then we'll set those feet up again. Start with constructive rest, so heels are about underneath the knees, shin bones straight up and down, but then walk your heels slightly wider than your hips. And then we're going to take our arms out to the sides, kind of like those cactus arms we had earlier. And now we'll do one side first. You're going to exhale and let the left arm fall overhead, so that's your external rotation, as the right arm falls forward, but we're also going to bring the legs into this. So as the left arm goes overhead and the right arm goes down by the hip, you're going to let the legs fall to the right. So whichever arm is going overhead, the legs go the opposite direction, and you can also turn your head towards that upper arm. Let's do just that side. Inhale, come back. So focusing on the left. Exhale, right arm will internally rotate, left arm externally rotates. I turn my head to the left and let my legs fall to the right. There's some places in yoga, they describe this like a wash rag, but we're really taking those cactus arms and the windshield wiper legs and putting that together. We'll do a few more on just the left side. Turning the head towards the top arm, letting the legs fall the opposite direction of that arm. And remember, the bottom arm is internally rotating. Then come back, we're going to switch. So turn that brain on. You got to do the switch in your brain. So now, as you exhale, your right arm will come overhead, externally rotated. Left arm will fall down towards the hip, internally rotating, and the legs go to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, legs to the left, right arm overhead, left arm down by the hip, and you can turn your head towards your right shoulder. So just acquainting yourself with this. I either get too relaxed and then I can't speak, or I'm trying so hard that I can't do the movement. So just be in your body, one or two more. And then pause, relax for a moment. We're going to bring all of that together. And so we've been doing these cactus arms. What you can do now is keep your arms long. So if you have that feeling of external and internal rotation, it's still going to be that. But you can reach an arm to create more space through the torso. So what that would look like is I would still internally rotate the right arm, externally rotate the left arm, but reach the left arm overhead and the right arm down towards the legs that are falling to the right. Let's do just that side for a moment. And then inhale back, let go. Exhale, turning towards that left shoulder. Nice stretch through that left side body. Let's do one more to left. Left arm overhead, legs go to the right. And then back, let's try the other side. When you finish off the left side, we'll switch and go to the right side. So now your left arm will internally rotate, so you're going to slide it down towards your left hip. Right arm will externally rotate away from you and slide it overhead, and the legs fall to the left. And you can turn your head to the right. And notice if one of these sides is a lot more difficult, just take your time, think it through. This is like brain movement, right? So right arm slides, left arm down, right arm overhead, legs to the left. We have to be fully aware. We're observing the movement, we're creating the movement, we're repatterning the movement. So now I've gotten really good at this, right? So we're going to do the same thing, but alternate sides. So as you exhale, if you want to do it to your breath, the left arm can go overhead, external rotation, right arm down by your hip, internal rotation, legs fall to the right. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, opposite way, legs to the left, right arm overhead. It's almost like your arms are just sort of making snow angels. Legs are falling. You can think of your arms and legs like windshield wipers going opposite directions. on a nice slow setting. Just a very light moistening rain. And then try, if you've been turning your head, hopefully you have, if you've been turning your head towards your top arm, the one that's reaching overhead, just see if you can do the same movement, turning your head towards the bottom arm or whichever way your knees are going. So just switch the head position to looking at the knees. And it might not be so yummy at first. You might need to do a little coordination, as I do. Pay attention. But that thing is that if we're paying attention, that means the reprogramming is happening. And that's what we want. Not to mention, hopefully it feels good just to let your body move in these ways. And you can alternate once again and take your head towards the top shoulder, arm reaching. So go back and forth, challenge yourself. Last few. And that's it. That was our short somatic practice. Take your time getting up or just pause and feel whatever it is you feel. Putting together our windshield wiper legs, or sometimes we call that one walking in place, with our cactus arms. If you're looking for more full practices, I have lots and lots of YouTube videos with full somatic practices. You can also sign up. I offer live stream Zoom classes in somatic, so you can sign up for those at my website, barefootyogastudio.com. Peace, joy, love, and light. Namaste.